My fiancée had a secret second life. I thought I knew everything about my fiancée. After all, we had been together for 6 years. 6 years of birthdays, vacations, family dinners, movie nights, and plans for the future. 6 years of building a life together. Or at least that's what I believed. My name is Jake, and this happened when I was 29. My fiancée, Sarah, was 27. Our wedding was only 2 months away. The venue was booked. The invitations had been sent. Our families were excited. Everything seemed perfect. Sarah was beautiful, kind, and successful. Everyone loved her. Even my mother, who usually found something wrong with every woman I dated. If someone had told me back then that Sarah was hiding a secret big enough to destroy our entire relationship, I would have laughed in their face. Then, one ordinary Tuesday changed everything. Sarah worked in marketing and occasionally traveled for business. One evening, she told me she had to attend a conference in another city for 3 days. Nothing unusual. She packed her suitcase, kissed me goodbye, and left early Thursday morning. That night, I stayed home playing video games. Around midnight, I received a Facebook message from someone I didn't know. The account belonged to a woman named Laura. The message simply said, "Hi, I think we need to talk about Sarah." My stomach instantly dropped. Nobody sends messages like that for a good reason. I replied immediately. "What about her?" A few minutes later, Laura answered, "Are you engaged to Sarah Miller?" I stared at the screen. How did this stranger know that? I replied yes. Then she sent a photo. My hands started shaking. The photo showed Sarah, but she wasn't alone. She was standing beside another man, and they were kissing. At first I thought it had to be old, maybe from before we met. Then I noticed the date, 3 weeks earlier. I felt like all the air had left the room. I asked who the man was. Laura replied, "My brother." I couldn't think straight. Nothing felt real. Laura explained that her brother, Daniel, had been dating Sarah for nearly 3 years. 3 years. Not 3 weeks. Not 3 months. 3 years. I told her she was mistaken. There had to be another explanation. Sarah was my fiancée. We lived together. We were getting married. Laura then sent more photos. Vacation photos. Restaurant photos. Holiday photos. Hundreds of them. Some were taken during times Sarah told me she was visiting friends. Others were during supposed work trips. Every image felt like another knife in my chest. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, Laura and I spoke on the phone. That's when things became even worse. Daniel had no idea I existed, just like I had no idea he existed. Sarah had somehow maintained 2 separate relationships for years. Neither of us knew about the other. Laura eventually suggested something shocking. "You should meet my brother." I agreed. The following day, we met at a coffee shop halfway between our cities. I expected anger, maybe even a fight. Instead, Daniel looked just as broken as I felt. He showed me pictures. I showed him mine. His jaw dropped when he saw our engagement photos. Then he showed me something that nearly made me fall out of my chair. A screenshot of a conversation. Sarah had promised to move in with him after ending things with someone from her past. That someone was me. For years, she had been telling him she planned to leave me. At the same time, she was planning a wedding with me. The lies never ended. Every answer led to more questions. Then Daniel revealed something neither of us expected. Sarah wasn't at a business conference. He had spoken to her the previous night. She was supposedly staying at a hotel with him next weekend. She had lied to both of us about where she was. So where was she really? Neither of us knew, and we were about to find out. Because Daniel had access to her shared location, he opened his phone. The location appeared instantly. Sarah wasn't at the conference. She wasn't at home. She wasn't with Daniel. She was at an address neither of us recognized. For several seconds we stared at the screen. Then Daniel whispered, "Who lives there?" Neither of us knew, but we were determined to find out. The truth was worse than we imagined. The address was about 30 minutes away. Neither Daniel nor I spoke much during the drive. We were both trying to process what we'd learnt. The woman we loved had been lying for years. Yet somehow it still felt impossible. Part of me hoped there was a reasonable explanation. Deep down I knew there wasn't. When we arrived, we parked across the street. The address belonged to a small suburban house. Nothing unusual. No signs. No business conference. Just a normal house. Sarah's car sat in the driveway. My heart sank. We waited. 20 minutes later, the front door opened. And what happened next changed everything. Sarah walked outside, holding the hand of a little girl. A little girl who looked about 5 years old. Then another man appeared. He wrapped his arm around Sarah's shoulders. The little girl called him Daddy. Daniel and I looked at each other in complete shock. Neither of us understood what we were seeing. Sarah wasn't just dating 2 men. She seemed to have an entirely separate family. Eventually, we approached the house. Sarah noticed us immediately. The color vanished from her face. She looked like she'd seen a ghost. The man beside her looked confused. Then he asked, "Sarah, who are these people?" Nobody answered. The silence lasted forever. Finally, I spoke. "I'm her fiancé." Daniel immediately added, "And I'm her boyfriend." The man's face went pale. Sarah started crying. The little girl began crying too. Everything exploded at once. The man introduced himself as Michael. And then came the most unbelievable revelation. Michael wasn't Sarah's husband. He was another boyfriend. He believed the child was his daughter. But according to Sarah's own timeline, there was a possibility the child wasn't his. The lies were even bigger than we imagined. For the next hour, everyone sat in the living room comparing stories. It felt like a nightmare. Sarah had created entirely different lives for different people. Different stories. Different promises. Different futures. Each of us thought we were special. Each of us thought we knew the real Sarah. None of us did. Eventually, the truth became unavoidable. Sarah had spent years manipulating everyone around her. Not because she had to. Because she wanted to. The wedding was cancelled immediately. Daniel ended things. Michael ended things. Both families learned the truth within days. Sarah's reputation collapsed almost overnight. The hardest part wasn't losing the woman I loved. It was realizing the woman I loved never truly existed. She was a character, a version of herself created for each person she met. Months later, I received one final message from Sarah. It simply said, "I'm sorry." I stared at it for a long time. Then I deleted it. Some apologies arrived too late. The strange part is that Daniel and I became friends afterward. 2 strangers connected by the same betrayal. We occasionally joke that we survived the world's worst dating experience. But the lesson stayed with me. Trust should be earned. And when someone constantly gives you reasons to question them, don't ignore the signs just because you're in love. Because sometimes the person you're planning your future with is living a completely different future somewhere else. The end.